we'll get there in the end. At the moment, I've got a guy who's in Birmingham who's inputting all the parameters for the bike, the cam timing, the cam profile, the exhaust, the inlet track shape and length, and the exhaust system, and the squish clearance, and the valve angle, and everything, compression ratio, the conrod length, and he can do a virtual dynamometer run on the computer and say what it should be producing. Well, I know exactly what it's producing on a real dynamometer, and then he can fiddle with various parameters and try and optimize it. So let's see. We'll get there in the end. If we don't, it won't be for lack of effort and expenditure. NX4TT, back to you, Ed. G2YT.
G2YT, NX4TT. Well, better you than me, my friend. One of my friends down on Barbados are into, I guess you guys call rallies, and he's also one of the very best mechanics in the island, and he races a couple of cars of his own. And when I got the chance to talk to him, now this has been a few years now, he would cuss because he just couldn't figure out, with doing all the bells, buttons, and whistles, he just couldn't get a car to produce like he thought it would. And taking into the fact it does rain, it does get damp, it does get windy, yada yada yada. So and even from one rally to the next, the drivers drive a little bit differently, and that comes into play in the whole get up. So I just told him, just tell the monkeys to leave the damn thing alone. So they have monkeys on the island. I said, just tell the monkeys to leave the damn thing alone, let them race. But he didn't like my humor. Over.
No, I can imagine. Well, people who race tend to be sort of fairly competitive in nature. To put it, that is British understatement, by the way, Ed. Sometimes lost on Americans. I think you've been around the block enough times to understand that. But it's very, very frustrating. Anyway, it seems to be my life at the moment. I just started work in earnest over the last 2 days building a new model aeroplane. I'm very much into control line, or U-control as it's called in the US, speed models, and I'm building a new model for a new class that's just been devised, which I hold the record, the British record for the nitro class, but this is for diesel compression ignition. So I'm building almost an exact replica of the one that uses my nitro engine. These things it's 2.5 cc and it's 2.5 brake horsepower. It's 1 brake horsepower per cc. On that basis, my 3,000 cc car engine would produce 3,000 brake horsepower, or like twice what a Formula One car would produce. It's pretty outrageous. Very, very highly developed. Actually using a Russian-made engine in this latest model, and the nitro one, which I hold the current record with, is a Ukrainian-made engine. It's very, very popular, not very popular, it's more popular in Eastern Europe than it is here, but I've done it since I was a kid, really, and it's part of my competitive spirit coming out, Ed. Anyway, let me put it back to you. I'm sure there's lots of other guys in Europe love to have a QSO with, and you're probably fed up with hearing about my quirks. NX4TT, G2YT.
G2YT, NX4TT. No, not actually, because my mind goes about 10 different directions at one time. Yours probably does also. I was listening to you guys this morning talking about doing some stuff inside the houses, and I just, it just dawned on me. I have been to the UK multiple times with the military, but I never really got a chance to get off the installation. And I just realized, I got a friend of mine that I met here over top of the radio. I actually met him and his wife and family here locally. I drove over and spent the day with him. And I'm gonna go spend a couple of days with him. And I realized I have never been in a residence in the UK. I've driven by them, been around them, but I've never been in one. So I'm just because of the differences, as you said, as with the comment you made about Churchill, I would think housing and stuff would be a little bit differently also. Again, my Carol, being from Barbados, and with a little bit of the English flavor of the islands, I get a chance to see what it was like there, and absolutely loved it. So I'm kind of curious what it's going to be like as far as when I go to John's house or somebody else's place, and just to be able to experience this firsthand. And also, I was a couple of conversations this morning. People, are restricted, if you will, because of the lack of property to be able to put up anything decently. And how ingenious some of you guys have just got to be to just to get anything up in the air to be able to transmit. So some of that's going to be kind of nice to see firsthand too. So with my trip, with it getting closer, I'm getting a little bit more anxious and lots of things to make notes on. G2YT, NX4TT return.
Yeah, NX4TT, G2YT. Well, I can tell you now, you'll notice immediately the majority